Hello,
Hi
beautiful.
there and hello. Well, did you want to introduce? You can introduce this week. Go for it.
Oh, that's my kid. That's Piper, who confirms everything that we say and always agrees with us. It's not true. Um, I'm Tara Priolo. I am your resident Black biracial multi-passionate musician. I talk about the issues that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same, which I do every week with Dr. Flo on this particular podcast extravaganza called Deconstruction Junction. We're going to bring you some topics. We're going to bring you some news. We're going to bring you some out there thoughts and takes as we do with a side of child accompaniment. Who are you, Dr. Flo?
Oh wow, I'm a online coach and mentor, in real life coach and mentor, fabulous alien superstar called to encourage, equip, and empower people to use their time, talent, and treasure on planet Earth in the present moment for good. I'm watching, as I always do, the seconds blinker happening on the top right hand corner of our MacBook Pros, and it reminds me that that's time moving forward. Good time to make good trouble, to be happy, healthy, and free. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be with you all. Say it again.
I was singing a cue for good
Which one?
times and bad times.
I'll be on your side forevermore.
Friends I find.
Yes, I love it. All right, so where are we going?
Okay. Well, first of all, if you ever want to join Deconstruction Junction, if you are a person out there that wants to join us, apply at lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. First, I'm bringing us down, y'all. Bring me down. It's actually a really sad story, so I'm sorry I entered that way. This is Sam Nordquist, a trans man from Minnesota who was found dead in a field, I believe 2 days ago, after being tortured for months. And this is very sad. 5 people have been apprehended. And this post behind it is from a local organization. And it just says, "Rest in justice, Sam." There's a vigil planned on the 17th, so tomorrow, in New York State. Trans lives deserved to be lived. We are heartbroken. We are furious. We are sick to our stomachs. And the details of this case are quite brutal and violent. So just take that, content warning for that. Trans people existing has no detriment to the world, and yet we are taken out of it simply for being true to ourselves. To our trans folks, we love you. Hold each other a bit closer today. Watch out for each other and take care of yourselves. And I just wanted to lift this at the opening because this was I'm not sure if he was Black or if he is a person of color. I can say that for sure, but I have seen much Black solidarity with this today, as well as obviously trans solidarity, and it's just a really tragic case. So
I've read parts of this story as you were delivering it here on our live, and it's unfortunate that people can't just exist. This also reads of like a catfish situation as a person who has dated and or married several people online. It's scary that this person went to be with the online girlfriend of sorts and ended up being harmed by not just one, but a group of people.
And quite young individuals. I think all of them were under 40. And one of them was like 19. And so it's really, it's just a really, really tragic case. I mean, there are multiple crime scenes. There's multiple people involved. The last time the family heard from him was January 1st. His family here in Minnesota. It's a really, no one deserves this. No one deserves this.
Endured prolonged physical and psychological abuse at the hands of multiple individuals from early December 2024 to February 2025.
Right. And moved out there in September and was supposed to come back in mid-October to Minnesota and didn't make that round trip flight. And so all that I've read is we don't really know what was going on during that time, but many of the law enforcement has been saying, this is one of the most horrific cases they've investigated. So
humans harming another human just because of the hatred inside of their hearts.
Right. And I don't think they've classified it as a hate crime, but I would imagine that has something to do with it. So I just wanted to open with it. Rest in power, Sam. And just, I just want to.
I also want to further iterate that this is why, for my birthday, I asked for this body cam. It's also why I insist on communications with my team and with my tribe, because you could literally turn a corner in the world, and as it seems this person did, and end up in the hands of some pretty strange individuals. So I pray that trans people, in addition to having their bodies protected, will also continue to build systems of solidarity with people of all backgrounds, so you don't end up disappearing in December of last year and people, discovering your tortured body 3 months later. Like, where, and I've read in one of the articles that the person, Sam said, the last thing Sam said, "I love you and I'll call you tomorrow." Tomorrow came and I never heard a word, is what their mom said. So, once again, you could have the systems of support and be calling in and still end up around the wrong kinds of people. Y'all better stay the fuck away from me.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna move from that on to this banger that I want y'all to hear. I gotta turn off this production music. We're self-produced here until we get a bit of a production squad
We're
going
gonna
on.
have the production squad that T.S. Madison has soon.
T.S. and
what's his name? Craig. His name Craig.
I honestly thought I fired the clip.
Not at all. It's not even on the screen.
Take two, everybody. Take two.
And there's two clips.
Hostile government takeover. I wanna talk about it, but I've been late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, who we have to stop this? We have one, but you didn't want that lady in office. Hostile government takeover. Hostile government. We're part of a Nigerian Princeton. Surprise, surprise, ended up being a white man. Oh, I just want to know, what the hell do I do?
Now we got to do the other one. We got to do the other one. They're both the same. They're the same clip. I mean, it's not the same clip. Same song.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I wanna talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, who we have to stop this? We have one, but you didn't want the lady in office. Now that we're a part of a Nigerian prince scam, surprise, surprise, it ended up being a white man. Oh, I just wanna know what the hell do I do? Probably Drake.
I love that song unabashedly.
The Nigerian prince scam is so funny to me, and it turning out to be a white man, which is a reference to Elon, no less, is
Right.
hilarious to me because how he was able to get so deeply. Do you know that Elon makes $8 million per day off of the U.S. government?
Jesus.
8 million per day. Most people's aunties and older uncles and older relatives in social services only get about $65 a day to live. Elon gets 8 million in government contracts.
I saw something that said 1,000,000 seconds is like 3 days or something, and 1,000,000,000 seconds is 32 years. And I just like really need us all to understand.
Wait, I do the good stuff in my life because of abundance, great and small. Could you do that one more time?
How many days is 1,000,000 seconds? Hang on, because this is the number I don't remember. Okay, sorry, I lied. 1,000,000 seconds is 11 days. 1,000,000,000 seconds is 32 years. Like I need us to understand how rich this man is. It's like the rice thing again. But yes.
How rich the wealth attributed to him is.
Right.
Because he's not sitting on top of $1 million like a tycoon game I play on Roblox. This is the wealth attributed to him.
Right. Exactly. And hostile government takeover. We've got an unelected official who was never, like, not even put in by Congress. There's this dude. Hostile government takeover. Because y'all didn't want that lady in office. And
what it is what I read online on my conspiracy theory groups that I love and love. Starlink, which is a government contract, helped Trump win the election, thusly keeping him out of jail, which is the reason why he is in the back pocket of Elon. Because Elon knows, and they also publicly proclaimed in many Freudian slips that they stole this election or manipulated it.
Well, and even if they didn't, like, y'all got to stop blaming. You got to stop blaming the third party voters. Okay? You got to stop. It's not their fault. Even if every third party voter had voted for Kamala, she would not have won because the votes weren't in the right places. Y'all are blaming the wrong people.
Sound crazy even talking about third party voters and things as if we're not dealing with present moment crises.
And then just bring it back. 90 million of you didn't fucking vote. So like
things aren't bad enough, apparently. We like talk. We like if there's one thing that is classically American, it is a sense of outrage, even when you're not going to do anything at all.
Right, when you're not going to take any action steps, any small action. You're not going to send in your mail-in ballot. You're not going to Anyway.
Well, I mean, you know me. I mean, as a hit dog who will holler in the space, I was not giving my vote to either superpower in the last election. So I'm one of those people who did not vote. However, I am on the grounds every day making a honest effort at an honest, open, willing, and available effort at making a difference in the community that I'm directly in, and also on online spaces. So I sleep very, very well at night for not giving uh, my
I
vote
think
to the wickedness because I'm
right.
on the ground. A lot of people in the inverse of what you pointed to, um, they think that because they stood their asses in line for a couple hours or not at all and actually like bubbled in a piece of paper that they're somehow better citizens sitting on their ass eating Haagen-Dazs tonight. I don't think that you're better than me because you went to the polling place and cast a vote.
Right. Well,
If
and
you're not
those of
going to
you
do anything,
that didn't vote and aren't doing anything, aren't talking about it. Like, you're not even talking about it. Not even talking about it.
what is maybe I'm defending. I don't mean to defend, but I'm just saying what's better to be in the actual work of love and action and activism daily for 4 years, or to go to a precinct once every 4 years to say that you participated in
I
democracy.
mean, I think there's problems with both. I don't think it's a binary choice. I think it's both and. I think, we were talking about this before we got on here about a completely different subject, but like the dream reality is a reality that we don't we don't have to do both. You know what I mean? And I think so many people I think people don't vote because they feel disenfranchised by both parties, and I think that makes absolute sense. I did not want to vote for the presidency. I did not want to vote for the presidency. However, progress would have been easier under Kamala than it is under Trump. That said, Trump has activated a lot of people on both on all sides. Trump has activated people.
The presumption is that progress would have been better, even though there are many people who, under the presumption of progress, still don't move their lives
Right.
forward in ways that make them feel great over 4 years' time
And
as
that is
well.
called complacency, right? And it's got to be, if you're going to use voting as a tool to defeat whatever's in your quotation marks, y'all got to do it more than every 4 years. Like that is the thing about voting. Like, I am very adamant that I go in every election that is eligible in my county and my district to vote in. I vote every single election, special elections, primaries, everything. I vote everything because if I'm not voting for my school board people, then it affects my child's life, right? Like, directly, that affects my child's life. If I'm not voting for my city council people, that affects my life, right? And so, like, those are the votes that make a difference to me. So we got to do it more often, and we got to get boots on the
You
ground.
say I'm doing the devil's advocate thing on Deconstruction, Junction. That you say that it directly affects you, and I know that it does directly and indirectly affect you. But you vote for these people, presumably, and then like, when do you see them? How did they
Well,
vote last week in your interest? Do we even know?
we do. Klobuchar voted against, but Klobuchar voted against some of my interests, but that's at the national level. Ilhan
Klobuchar voted against your interest.
sometimes she does, which is why.
Oh yeah, we know that Klobuchar is like a
Which
flag
is why
on the.
Peggy Flanagan is going to run for senator, who would be, she is the lieutenant governor right now, and she is Indigenous, and we love Peggy here. We love Peggy.
I also heard rumors that Waltz would be attempting to go towards Senate.
He may. Waltz is sort of 50-50 here now. So it's all interesting. It's all interesting, but it's a hostile government takeover. If people are running the country, I would rather them be elected than appointed. That's the way I feel about the Supreme Court too. Anyway.
Agreed.
Okay. This I wasn't going to bring. And then it came up, and there's a larger conversation to be had here, but I'm going to throw it out there because we're having this conversation about Kanye/Ye/whatever his name is, because he's had a latest, because of the Bianca Censori stuff. And I think he said something else too. I think.
Can you catch me up on this? Because I'm not familiar with the story. Although I did hear a very interesting take earlier. We've been talking about this woman's nakedness.
Yeah.
For months.
Right. But like the latest one was at the Grammys? Question mark.
Well,
I think it was the Grammys.
before you get to that, though, I'm not sure if it's connected or tied in, but they're saying that the reason why she was always without clothes is because she was an asset sent to track him, and you can never wear a wire on your body to catch me in anything if you're naked the whole time. And so his parading her about was his way of telling the feds, I know you sent her to get dirt on me, but she's never wearing a wire.
Interesting. I think the other side of that, there's a lot of discussion on like, is she being abused? Is it uh uh is it revenge corn? Is it revenge corn against Kim? Because she looks suspiciously like Kim. Like she looks like Kim. You know what I mean? And he had a thing about dressing Kim too. He just did it with like, y'all remember that? I remember this outfit that he dressed Kim in from like head to toe black. Do y'all remember this? There was a veil over her face and everything. It was a whole thing.
Oh, when you said the veil, it conjured me back. Like everything was
like,
the same
like
until you said
skinny,
veil.
it was like leggings and then like this long sleeve turtleneck and like the veil over the thing. And he had a thing for dressing Kim. And so like what some people are positing is that it's like it's a revenge towards Kim and a control thing, and that he's definitely like abusive. But then there's other people that are like, she just likes to be naked, so let her be naked. But then some people were doing lip reading at the Grammys. Anyway, I don't think this particular thing is about this. I think he said something that was deemed anti-Semitic. I have no idea what he said, but some people that I really respect, Dr. Martin and Abiola, are having a conversation here. And actually, I think it's Abiola. Sorry. Kanye was definitely that great. He also needs to keep his mind, heart, and soul, or he needs to get his mind, heart, and soul right. Both are true. To attempt to diminish his work is absurd. And Abiola responds, it actually hurts so much more because he's great. If Kanye was untalented, it would be easier to just write his behaviors off, but his past brilliance makes it deeply disturbing and disappointing. And I want to talk about this from the lens of an artist that has watched in the classical industry people struggle with this for years. Not necessarily with Kanye, but this is a bigger conversation of like, what do we do with artists that have really poor morality? And I'm talking like Wagner, notoriously anti-Semitic, wrote some of the things that are the biggest monumental building blocks of the opera world, right? We can look at other, we could talk about J.K. Rowling here, who her books technically defined a generation, right? I'm not saying they were the best books, y'all. I'm not saying that we should all go read them. I'm not saying that we should support the Harry Potter franchise. I want y'all to hear that. But what I am saying is that for a time, they defined a generation. And lots of people have grieved having to let go of J.K. Rowling because of her turfness, right? Which is evident in the books now that we read them. But this conversation of like, do we have to morally agree with the artist in order to enjoy their work? And I think it's also coming up with the Kendrick Lamar. You see this, like there are people that are like, he's very Zionist, which is interesting since there was a whole Palestinian Sudan flag flown at behind him. Like, I don't know, like this is a discussion of like, what are we holding artists to? And I'm not saying that, y'all, I also don't want you to hear it because I don't know what Kanye said in this context. And Dr. Flo dragged me in a few months ago, dragged me into an interview with Ye. And there were some things that I was like, you're wild. And then there were things where I was like, no, but actually I agree with you. Like, and I think that a lot of these takes and things like this and like the cancel culture of artists for like, and the litmus test that artists have to go through, like, are we palatable enough? And I can talk about this in the context of the movie that I saw last night too. Are we palatable enough for you to support? Like, and then on the flip of the dime, like we're the people that are like, well, those are boring artists because they're not radical, because they're not sharing any of their political beliefs, or they're not sharing any of their moral beliefs. But then you guys do this to an artist like Ye, who you all claim is great. I never listened to a lick of his music. I just know who he is because he aligned himself with Donald Trump 8 years ago. Like I mean, I knew who Kanye was, but I don't listen to Kanye's music. These are two Black women stating that he is brilliant, right? And so I really, this is a big conversation that I just wanted to lift, not necessarily in the context of Ye, but in the context of artistry and how we deal with it when we don't align with their views, or when their works become distasteful later on in time, right? Because there are definitely like opera. This is another opera instance. Opera is notorious for, what is that?
Oh.
Where did you get that?
In a room.
Opera is notorious for killing women. Like, women always die in opera. And it's just like, or women are always the cheaters, or women, or like even Carmen. Carmen is a very common opera where she's essentially a prostitute. Carmen is a prostitute, and people like it's this whole thing of like, basically these were white male composers writing stories about women in derogatory senses, and how do we handle that in present day, right? Do we stop performing the works? Do we make sure we educate our audiences? Do we cancel the artists when they're living? Like, these are the questions. And I think Kanye suffered a lot of repercussions for his actions. You know, he's lost a lot of brand deals. And so I think it's an interesting topic to raise, when also simultaneously people are saying, well, artists disturb the peace. Artists are going to be our answer. Artists are responding to the times. Artists, da, 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 da. Artists have to lead. So do you want us to lead, or do you want us to be quiet? You know?
I think Kanye is making a social commentary on the policing of language and what white people and white people of certain subsections of white people in power are allowed to say and do. He made it very, very clear in this article that I'm reading that he wants to be able to say whatever the fuck he wants when he wants to. And he's not speaking language that's any different than a neo-Yahtzee or a person who believes himself to be supreme because of their race or other eugenic factor.
Oh,
Um,
that jogs me to what actually happened. Y'all, it was the Super Bowl commercial that neither of us caught, because I sure didn't catch it. I don't think you caught it. There's apparently a commercial that advertised Kanye's website, which then was just selling a t-shirt with a swastika on it. That's what happened.
right, provocative because why can't I sell the shirt when all of you are going along with the ideologies daily in American mainstream culture? Kanye's always made a commentary around what's actually happening, and he's only saying and putting forward what is actually going on with chosen people. Yeah, I was canceled for the same reason that Kanye was, for asserting that there are no special people who are supposed to be running so much of industry globally, including what we just saw in Gaza. It's a problem. So I think that his tactics are a bit interesting, but he's behaving not any differently than white men in power. We just talk a lot about Kanye because he's
Black.
behaving exactly. Because I mean, like, once again, I'm gonna go back to this article that I'm reading from NBC, where he says, "I love when Jewish people come to me and say they can't work with me anymore. It's my favorite because that is something that's been used in my life and in entertainment for a long time. If you don't make fun I'm sorry, um, if you don't ingratiate yourself to this particular community, then you're not going to go as far as you could go. He goes on to say in here, I don't even know what the fuck anti-Semitic means. It's just some bullshit Jewish people made up to protect their bullshit. I don't disagree with the guy. When you have a protected class of people who behave horribly, and what his work, if you will, constantly points to is the double standard in our society around what black people are allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say. He also, in the same article at NBC News, points to the fact that his bank accounts were frozen. What kind of oppressive regime of power would take away a person's finance because he spoke out against a modern day protected people group that does mass atrocity in our faces? I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, because when white men colonize language and colonize ideas and colonize symbols,
Elon hasn't lost any money, folks, and he did a whole Nazi salute.
I mean, if that's how you want to interpret it, the interpretation around what black people do is always so much harsher than our peers. It's just a double standard, and I think that Kanye, because he's got so much money, he plays a lot with that double standard, so that people like me can see that it's the same old bullshit. Because when I read, he says, I'm racist. Stereotypes exist for a reason, but they all be true. He also in another post said all white people are racist. Jewish people actually hate white people and use black people. Another time he said, I love when Jewish people come to me and say they can't work with me anymore. Yeah, all of that. As a person who worked in higher level of industry, there is a perpetual fear of speaking out about these these chosen people of the Lord. And I think it's dangerous at worst and silly at best to conjure up this notion that somehow a breathing human, a blood beating human could somehow be superior based on, once again, we've been talking on the map and off the map about this weird eugenic.
Yeah, I think we get into a lot of trouble when we start talking about protected classes of people in any aspect, right? It could be anybody, and it has shifted throughout history. I mean, there's some people that believe that like once you're pregnant, you're in a protected class. I think that's absolute BS. I think it's weird. Bodies are just doing what bodies do. Like I think that's weird. I think it's weird. I think it's weird.
What would be the protected class of a pregnant person? I'm just curious.
I don't understand it. It's like they're like, this is the most vulnerable time in a person's life is to be pregnant, and I was like, I
mean, I'm certainly not going to push a pregnant lady out the way, but I'm trying to figure out what special deference should be given to that, unless the person in their particular held beliefs wants to revere a pregnant woman in that way.
I don't really understand it. But like, again, like when we're talking about protected classes, of which like billionaires are a protected class, right? You can't like billionaires. Okay. Let's just talk about billionaires because they're the ones that really we all need to be talking about, not should be, but we need to be talking about the protected class of billionaires because billionaires shouldn't exist on this planet. And some of y'all are defending billionaires, no matter the color, right? Some of y'all are defending billionaires and saying that they have a right to exist. And it's like, I think that's a conversation worth having. But whenever we have protected classes, then of course we have the double standard that Ye often points out, right? And he is hounded for it, right? He was never canceled prior until this. It was a couple years ago, right? Because we've talked about this, I feel like, on Deconstruction Junction, where he lost a bunch of brand deals. And again, like back to the original point, like, how do we I think the choice to cancel artists for speaking their own mind, that's a double standard in itself, because you're asking
Let me
artists
tell you
to speak
something.
out, and
Let
then
me
you're
tell you
asking us
something.
to be quiet.
Let me tell you something. I want people. I want you to hear me, and I want the people beyond to hear me, and the people in the time capsule and my archived voice for time. What Kanye is doing is great because y'all couldn't cancel anybody if you wanted to at this point.
You're still talking
Now,
about
the idea that y'all think the idea that a human, and I see people do this all the time. I see the threads, I see the tweets. The fact that y'all sit with your thumbs on the toilet or in your couches or in the house and think that you have the power personally to cancel another individual from expressing themselves and their freedom is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. People currently, even in this town, are trying to do it to me. And if y'all think that a singular monkey stops the show, I got another bag of lies to sell you. What he's speaking to is, and I'm gonna read one more of the articles. Sorry, not articles. He's saying this crazy stuff because he's able to. He says, "I have dominion over my wife." This ain't no woke ass feminist shit. Um, what he's highlighting, and while people, oh my God, he has dominion over his wife. Oh my God, you know who else? Who you know who else deals, or what other group deals in this dominion over wives, and wives should be loyal to their husband
many
shit?
religions, many religions.
The evangelicals.
Right, the
All
evangelicals.
they talk about is the wife being a helpmeet. Where do you think the whole idea that the rib came from Adam?
And the surrender to the man, right?
Yeah, because did you not know that Ross's rib was ripped out to make you?
That's why I said God has nothing to do with our marriage now.
And as a result, Ross has complete dominion over everything because you are crafted from his rib. Did you not know that?
Right. I didn't know because I didn't go to that part of school. I didn't go to that part of the school. I dropped out before confirmation. Thanks. For sure. No,
it's the only thing I've heard of you dropping out. You didn't drop out of anything else. That's the only thing I've heard you drop out of in your life.
It's religion.
Religious confirmation.
Religion, actually, that is the only thing I have ever not
completed. Whereas me, I completed all of the religious confirmations and all the religious stuff, but it fucked me up so bad I didn't complete anything else.
That part. I mean, I think the whole circle of this whole discussion is that Ye is pointing out some hypocrisies, and I'm pointing out a hypocrisy that y'all are asking artists to speak, and then you're asking them to be silent because you don't like what they say. Just because somebody says something, and this is another thing, and Crutches and Spice, y'all gotta go listen to Crutches and Spice. She hasn't said it in a long time, but y'all gotta stop thinking that just because somebody says something that you don't agree with, that they're mentally ill or that they're disabled in some way. They are not, most of them. Now, Ye has said that he is bipolar. Who knows? Whatever.
No, he's definitely, as a person who dabbles in these spaces, he's definitely emotionally.
I didn't know if that was like a
though, like, what is bipolar in a society that's constantly triggering you into high and low states of emotion and
into manic right now, this chaos of the last 4 weeks, manic, right?
Are you and I riding the waves of the sadness of a trans person being tortured while also being happy about my birthday? Yes. Right. And is that a bipolar kind of feeling?
Are we also constantly holding the duality of watching the NFL and knowing that it's basically owning people and it's like one of the most capitalistic industries that we could be watching?
And that JJ is going to miss the ball 4 fucking times?
Ridiculous.
To my face.
Ridiculous. Also, speaking of which, if you all are listening to this and you care, right now on my page, until I make the reel, I have Black athletes. The prompt is Black athletes, and the challenge is, you guys are going to list them I have to match you all name for name. Right now, I think there's about 20, and I can list 20 Black athletes. So y'all got to bring me some more. Y'all got to bring me some more. Make it a challenge for me, babies. Make it a challenge for me.
Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods,
That's
Arthur Ashe.
my mom mentioned that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom got in the broadcast channel and responded 5 times.
She always had a thing for black sexy thighs.
She said
That's
Arthur
how you
Ashe,
know.
so
That's how you
she got
know. Black sexy thighs.
And
He
see,
was
now we're holding duality
phenomenal.
of seriousness, and this is serious in a different way, but I also kind of giggle at the next 2 stories.
Well, given what we just came from about religious zealots and things like that, there is a story in it's not in Torah. They don't believe in this part. But there is a story in the Bible about a guy named Jonah being eaten by a whale.
A whale.
And a whale.
A whale
And being swallowed by the fish for a very long time. This almost happened to this guy this week, and he lived to tell the story. Check this out, y'all.
¡Hey! Ya, vente, vente. Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo, tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, no te subas, agárralo. Tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, vete para la orilla. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Ya voy. Agárrate de la cuerdita. Agárrate de mi cuerdita. Tranquilo, agárrate de mi cuerdita. Agárrate de mi cuerdita de atrás, no me tumbes, no me tumbes. Eso, tranquilo, tranquilo. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Vamos, vamos.
Like he chomped him.
Hey. Ya,
when I tell you I have never seen this clip,
Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo.
my whole
Agárralo,
person.
agárralo, no te subas, agárralo. Tranquilo, agárralo.
I saw somebody like make a reaction, but I've never seen the clip. That whale ate him.
Chomped him, took him under, and then decided, like, I may not be able to actually swallow this human plus this boat, so I'm going to just release him while also plunging down to the depths. But, like,
That
this
poor
is what.
person. Oh my gosh.
And the guy going, tranquilo, tranquilo, calm down, stay calm is essentially what he's saying. And, like, how would you stay calm when a whale nearly ate you? Like a whale tried to take a bite out of me. What?
I'm fully crying. I'm unwell. I cannot.
You don't see that every day. And when I saw it, I was like, this is what they were talking about in the biblical times. However, in the biblical story, the guy gets swallowed by the whale. He ends up like camping out inside for like days while God talks to him.
Isn't that also what happens in like Pinocchio or something? Isn't it what happens in Pinocchio? Straight up, isn't it?
I don't follow Pinocchio like that. I fall asleep on movies like this. I know that I will ask Poppy. I know that Geppetto makes him.
We have the whole internet. Did Pinocchio?
Is there a whale narrative in Pinocchio? I'll Google too.
Get swallowed by a whale. Look, it's the second question. Yes, Pinocchio is swallowed by a whale in the Disney film Pinocchio. In the story, Pinocchio is swallowed by Monstro, a giant sperm whale.
It does say Monstro, which is
triggering.
The Monstro is triggering, or what's triggering?
Both of them. That's why that looked familiar to me, because I watched
Monst-
Pinocchio and I didn't think it was real.
Monstro. Monstro is Portuguese for monster, and it is known for swallowing anything that comes near him. And it's the final antagonist in the 1940 Disney film of Pinocchio. So you remember that? Yeah, I never got that far in Pinocchio, because after the old dude was turning, his Pinocchio, his puppet into real life, I was just like, this is just so strange.
It's wild. I don't think I'll ever be on the ocean in a raft. I'm not doing this. Ever.
On the off chance, I do want to go whale watching in Alaska.
On a large boat.
For sure. On a cruise ship.
I'm not doing this.
I would not be out there with some Chilean man saying tranquilo, tranquilo, tranquilo. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Never! Never! That's all you got for me is stay calm, and I just got a chomp. All right, next one, y'all. Where's my...
Okay. Actually, can we do the one after this first?
Is the shift.
There's another one. Okay, hold on.
Sorry, we're going to do the kayak ones, and then we're going to do this one. I think there's another one after.
Great white shark. I'm out of here. Oh, mate, get out of the rudder. Oh, mate, get out of the rudder. There's a huge great white behind me. Following me. He's still behind me. He's going at my rudder. He's following me. He's still here. He's still behind me. He's just following me. He's still following me. He's got a distance, but he could swim up on me at any moment. Tangaroa, please. Get me home safe, Tangaroa.
I will never.
Who get me home safe?
Tungaloa? Maybe that's a god? Tunga.
I'll play overtime. Also, this is why I lived on the ocean for many years as a cruise ship officer and entertainer. I have a healthy respect for the ocean for reasons like this.
Great white shark. I'm out of here.
Trying to outrun a great white shark.
Also, Australians, he sounds like Australian. They're built different.
I'm so calm.
Oh, mate, get out of the rudder.
Great white shark.
There's a huge great white behind me.
Red white.
Thank you for sharing.
Following me.
It's following me.
He's still behind me. He's going at my rudder.
Would just die.
Black folks know that, like, he shouldn't even be out there.
Me.
Why are you in a kayak?
He's following me. I'm here for who he's praying to at the end.
He's still behind me. He's just following me. He's still following me. He's got a distance, but he could swim up on me at any moment. Tangaroa, please. Get me home safe, Tangaroa.
I don't know who that is.
Who the fuck is Tangaroa?
I don't know. I don't know how to spell it. Anyway, y'all, this is why black people don't go. Black people don't do stuff like that. No.
I googled Tongala prayer, and the first thing that it says people also ask is, what is the ejaculatory prayer?
Well, when I looked up, it said that it's a wrestler.
Oh,
So
in Christian piety, an ejaculation, sometimes known as the ejaculatory prayer or aspiration, is a short prayer in which the mind is directed to God in an emergency.
interesting.
A holy ejaculation.
There's a prayer for a Tonga. I
Who
don't
is
know.
he? Said Tonga Lulu Tonga.
I don't know who that is. If anybody knows, please let us know.
Great White. Tangaroa, please. Get me home safe, Tangaroa.
I don't know what he's saying.
Great White. Great. He could swim up on me at any moment. Tangaroa, please. Get me home safe, Tangaroa.
I promise you that's who I'm calling on the next time.
Okay, now we got to do the last. Y'all, this is the Ocean Express exhibit that we're doing right now on Deconstruction Junction. So much
Finding
happened
Nemo.
on the ocean this week.
Finding Nemo.
It really is. Oh my God. Okay.
So much happened in the ocean, but like they say that like the oceans are truly uncharted. I've lived on the oceans, but I do not like. I have a high. I can't even tell. I'm like nervous right now. I have a heavy, high respect for the ocean. It's so. I couldn't even sound it out. I swear, I have a reverence. Tagalala.
I am so like my heart rate is so high right now because I'm like panicking. That man in the whale.
Oh, I'm gonna go
Why
back.
are you people? Why are you people out here in wraps in the middle of the ocean? Get it together.
Get it together. I've lost my. Oh, here it is.
No, that's not it. That's the wrong one. I'm so like, child.
I saw it, and because I saw it, you had to see it too.
Hey,
My whole
ya, vente,
person
vente.
is so upset right now.
Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo, tranquilo.
Tranquilo, tranquilo.
Agárralo.
Okay,
Who
here's our
tell?
beloved
What is the
angel.
context of this? Because
Well,
it's been
let's
all
show you
over
on the video.
social.
Watch the video. Let's watch the video. and then we'll explain the rest.
All right.
This is just about the little fish.
This
That's all
is
it's about.
the shift. Everything buried is being revealed. Everything hidden is being brought to the surface. And like the anglerfish, we have a choice. Chase false light and lose ourselves? Or do we rise with purpose? Do we take what we've learned in the deep and use it to navigate for what comes next? This is your message. You were never meant to stay in the dark forever. You were built to carry your own light. You are rising because it is time. But rise wisely. Rise with intention. She surfaced so that we would wake up. Because the deep is here, right now. The illusions are fading, whether we are ready for it or not. The world is changing. So the question is, are you?
Okay. So that was kind of a cheesy video of it. But what you need to know is that that is an angelfish. I believe that they are called. An anglerfish, excuse me. There's also an angelfish, but this is an anglerfish, which you are probably all familiar with if you've seen Finding Nemo, because there are anglerfishes. There's an anglerfish in Finding Nemo that they run across. Now, the reason I chose this particular video instead of all the other ones, I chose this one because I wanted you all to know that the size of this fish that y'all are caring about is palm sized. This fish is so small. Now, I don't know how they found this fish, but
They dramatize this fish in Nemo to where it's like a vicious like fish that's at the bottom of the depths of the
Right. So, and they do. Anglerfish live exclusively at the bottom of the ocean, and they are you know, their little lights on their head, that's how they feed. And so the thing right now is like essentially they only swim up to the top like this to die. So this fish will die. It will die. And people care about it, but this is the first light this fish has ever seen outside of its own light. And that's apparently very moving to people, as you can see in this dramatized video. And essentially all the white ladies are losing their ish and crying about this fish online. There's a very rare occurrence that we're seeing. We don't know why this fish has succumbed to the surface. We have no idea, but the fish will die. That's what I got. But there's white women crying across the internet about it, saying how beautiful it is. And
Well, I'm gonna read the article that I found about this because it is a white lady thing for sure, and a lost anglerfish with a sad ending has captured the hearts of TikTok, leaving viewers emotional and even sparked discussions about the symbolic meaning and theories behind her fate. On the 26th of January, this is a European article because they put the date in front, researchers in Tenerife came across a rare sight of a sea devil slowly floating to the surface of the ocean. I thought the man in his swim clothes was also a wonderful piece of this. I was like, who doesn't like a nice trim body in water?
That's also why I chose that, because the little fish was like on the camera, like, and I was like, oh, it's a person. It gives
He's
us
filming the fish, but he's also got like a nice, like, physique to him in the water. So I was like, who's going to deny eye candy? So the sea devil is slowly floating to the surface of the ocean. This fish species is usually found in the deep ocean, thriving in dark waters between 650 to 6,500 feet below the surface.
That's a lot.
With its eerie, glowing lure and menacing teeth, this fish is a master of the deep, using its light to draw in unsuspecting prey.
Right.
Now, this is a dream come true. I guess the reason why is because people are saying that there's a couple things going on. People are thrilled that they actually get to see the Nemo fish for the first time. Then some people are also like have spent their whole life thinking they would never see that fish in real life, but then they are. But others are also saying that because there's no food down below for the fish to get, this is actually a sign of some dangerous ecological things.
Well, I would probably believe the last thing that you said. It seems true because we're destroying the planet actively. I don't know. Listen. I think first of all, those of you that have never seen this fish, have y'all not watched Blue Planet? Like, are you okay? Are you okay? Go watch Blue Planet. Go watch Planet Earth. They have this on all the ocean episodes. Okay? They have it. We have seen it. It's been on film. It was monumental when Blue Planet came out. So I'm just going to need y'all to just hunker down and go find some National Geographic. Okay?
It's saying a third person shared 2 cartoon images suggesting the anglerfish's last dying wish was to see the light. The posts across social media left viewers bawling their eyes out.
Seriously.
As another crypt, it's really upsetting that people keep calling the anglerfish ugly. She was just a girl who wanted to see the sun.
Just a girl. I'm just a girl. Yeah, there are people absolutely losing their shit over this. Okay, Flowskis wanted me to bring this today. I said Threads feels like the early days of Clubhouse. No ads, many takes, camaraderie, and fun. And I, like Flo, we have very rarely flocked to the same app and enjoyed the same app at the same time. We just aren't those people. Like, I hopped down to TikTok much later than him, got into it much later than him, then they came away from us. You know?
I used to think that it was because you were slow to adopt, but I now recognize that it's important, folks, to know and recognize that your peeps don't necessarily consume content in the same way that you do. The people in your life don't necessarily enjoy the internet and their phones in the same ways that you do. And so Tara and I both consume information through various apps and things in different ways, but somehow we've landed in a space that makes us happy over in Threads. What is it about Threads that's giving you the jollies right now?
I really, okay, so there's something about TikTok that I really enjoy, which is the reposts. I love a repost on TikTok. I love the ability to just share with y'all the information. I don't got to share it to my stories, and it's seen by the same number of people, right? That like my normal videos would. And I also like that on TikTok you get notifications of the likes of your reposts. So if you have friends that like your repost, you get notified of that, which I really quite enjoy. And so the problem with Instagram, which has been she's been my homie for a long time. Instagram is kind of my baby.
Much of the chagrin of me, child.
Right. Even though I continue to be right that we always end up back on freaking Meta, but that's fine.
The reason why, and you highlighted this earlier, is because it's the first mass adopted platform that people,
People are there.
we've been in the clutches of Meta for over 20 years.
Right.
He has a chain and curly hair now.
Right. And we don't like, I think you reposted this earlier. I think we both saw it, that like we don't just walk away under the pressure. Like the people are here. And that's what I said in my post a few days ago on Facebook too, was like, all y'all trying to leave the platform, like we're not here for the people in power. We're here because the people are here. So quit trying to run everywhere. But I really enjoy the repost ability on Threads. I really love that we can just say what we need to say quick and dirty, and there's no like barrier of having to create a video or having to create a graphic. Like anywhere on Instagram, anywhere on TikTok, you have to create some kind of video or some kind of graphic. You can't just post, right? And on Facebook, sometimes when you're doing that, Facebook gets very long form and it's like bloggy, and I'm like, I'd rather just do that on Substack. So for me, Threads is the best mix of all the worlds because I can repost videos and graphics and audio, which no other platform has, right? Aside from Clubhouse and Twitter, which has no engagement anymore. And so like, it's just, and the algorithm on Threads is so similar to the TikTok algorithm, where like you repost one thing or you like one thing or whatever, and it gives you 12 more, and it's just like, I am all about that because I don't want to, sometimes I want to get on social media and not have to think about what I'm searching for on social media. I just want you to give it to me. I want the algorithm to work. Okay. So that's what I'm enjoying most about Threads. What are you enjoying about Threads?
I just like turning people upside down and hearing their raw thoughts. Someone 8 hours ago, their thread only got one view, or the reply only got one view. It says, if there's anything that Threads reminds me of daily, it's how much people distance themselves from their original thoughts and will literally copy paste post whatever's popular. This doesn't circulate growth, it circulates groupthink. I said, say more. And they said, be original. Those thoughts are necessary. So just hearing this random, person, on the internet have an opinion and being able to respond to that is fascinating to me. Also, I discovered today how to adequately use the voice memo feature of this. And I'm always rattling out my thoughts. I feel like I sometimes translate better in spoken word and people hearing my tone rather than reading it. So for accessibility to my energy and what I'm trying to build, I'm just really enjoying it. Clubhouse had a feature at the very end where people could pass vocal notes or voice notes, vocal notes. I'm always working. Voice notes across the table from one another, and people want micro content. I don't know what the character limit is on Threads, but there is one, so you can't talk forever there, and there is a 1 minute maximum on the voice memos. So I like being able to just kind of pass notes in class with my cool kid friends. I thought that Blue Sky was going to be the space to do that, but there's a weird vibration over there.
I think it's that it's so open. I feel the same about Mastodon. It's like, I want to not be reliant on the sheer amount of people. on Meta platforms or even TikTok, but it's almost like you just like I have a hard time finding things of interest on Blue Sky. Like again, like a lot of times I don't want to go to social media to use it like Google. There are people that use social media that way. I certainly use YouTube that way, but I don't use my other social media that way. And so for me, Blue Sky gets to be like very tedious in the creation of your own algorithm, right? Where at least like all the other platforms have some backing of an algorithm that if you don't want to build your own feed, then you have the option to just rely on that algorithm to feed you things, which is why I have recently gone away from Instagram. Like I do primarily still post on Instagram and proliferate out from there, but TikTok, the algorithm is better for me to just turn off my brain. If I go to Instagram, I actually have to search for things. I very rarely get to just scroll Instagram and find something that interests me. I have to like go to people's pages and then go to their tagged people and like da 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 da. And it's really obnoxious. It's really obnoxious, you know?
Not really fluid. Now I was asking Poppy earlier. The replies, meaning that on threads, if I reply to someone, it creates a thread of the conversation, which I think is a brilliant way to name the product and its functionality. That threaded conversation, because I replied, now becomes part of your For You page and feed there. Has that always been the case and true in other platforms? Like, I don't remember having an aggregated For You page that included the people I'm following. Like, if you were to say something to someone right now on threads, it would eventually show up and pop up in my For You feed.
Yeah.
Is that common? I love it.
I think it shows it differently. Like Facebook definitely populates. Like if I were to comment on something, it shows you that somewhere in your feed, right? Um, and the same thing on Instagram. If like you like a post, I'll see the post and then I see that people that I follow have liked the post. And so then I go ahead and read the post. So it does populate like that, but not as smooth as threads. Where like I was scrolling threads today and it would be like I'd scroll a couple and they'd be like normal, like people that I follow. And then it would be like a repost of yours and it would say repost at Andre and the Flow now or 2 minutes ago. Like it would show me how recently you reposted something. And that was nice. Cause then I was like, oh, this is old content or this is new content or whatever.
I wonder how long before they start fucking with that.
Yeah, I mean, they've already tweaked it to, I think, be more addictive, but I'm not
Because
mad about it because
it's not a chronological feed. Once again, it's not
right.
chron.
And I think I like it because you're not like TikTok is very rage baity and very dramatic or has a tendency to be. And Threads doesn't seem to be like that. Like Threads right now is still definitely like people getting used to using it. There's not so many coaches that are like trying to monetize the crap out of it like there were on TikTok a couple of years ago. Same thing with Instagram. Like it's just a nice, like Clubhouse was. Like there were the people at the beginning that were doing the marketing and you could go into the marketing and business development rooms, but you didn't have to. There was a whole other ecosystem on Clubhouse. And like this feels a lot like that, where it'll occasionally drop me marketing and business and social media stuff. But for the most part, it's like, it's actually showing me Black people, which is more than any other platform that I follow. Like TikTok, I've gotten to where like most of my feed is Black people, but I had to work pretty hard to train the algorithm to show me Black people. Like I had to like every Black person's post for ages to show me Black people. And Instagram is just a lost cause. Like I don't even see Dr. Flo stuff. And Dr. Flo was in my favorites.
I'm darker than a paper bag, Tara. Have you not heard?
I didn't know.
But it's okay because I know how to detach from energies, human, alien, and otherwise, and also from apps that seek to erase who I am. And part of the ways in which we can detach is by letting people be who they want to be and then decide if you want them in your life. Trust that rejection is always redirection to something bigger and better. Recognizing that some people are only meant to help you grow, but not to be in your life forever. To understand what if everything is falling apart to come together in ways that you can't guess. Wouldn't that be nice as a mental exercise? And then also focus only on what you can control as you detach. We use the serenity prayer often here in our network. Higher power, higher mind, healthy thoughts and kind thoughts towards me. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Powerful stuff, especially if you feel like the things in your life or people in your life are kind of dragging you down or creating that energetic drag effect where it's consuming all of this content online can really start to make you feel heavy. Maybe it's time to not acquire more in your life. Maybe it's time to let go. I want more abundance in the way of finances and connecting with my new clients and my new folks to coach and things like that. But I'm also finding that if I don't let some things go, my hands are going to be full for the new that's to come. What are your thoughts on detachment? When has it served you?
I think detachment is good. I think we just have to normalize it a little bit more. I'm lucky enough to have built a life where I get to detach from it. I mean, I work from home, but I get to detach from my teaching life and from my admin life for the most part over the weekends. And I get 2 days off every week, and I'm lucky enough to also be able to just put my phone down and hang out with my baby and hang out with my dogs. And I really, it's been kind of used as an insult or whatever. And, I've said it before, chronically online, and I am chronically online, but also I touch grass, and I think that it's just about more balance, and it's just about recognizing what you need. And I feel like we talked about this maybe last month sometime, but like really truly sitting with yourself and deciding what you need is different than just going through the motions of something because somebody told you that it would be good for you. Sometimes detachment is key. Sometimes being detached for long periods of time is key, right? Like yesterday, like if y'all saw Dr. Flo and I's conversations, like say last week, the difference between last week and the last 3 days, wildly different. Neither of us were angry at each other. We didn't have any beef with each other. We literally were just living our lives. We detached, right? We saw each other on threads. It was like, hey, good morning, goodbye. Here's something interesting. Bye. Cool. Moved on with our lives. Like that. And it's okay to detach from people like that. It's okay to detach from your phone. Like nothing. And I think the other thing is like nothing. And I keep implying this to people. Like, I understand why people are so attached. But even with like Gaza, there were people here that were like, people that were semi close to me that would be just really in grief about Gaza. And I just kept asking them, how does that help? Like, yes, feel your grief, feel your sadness, feel the despair, feel the pain, but also learn that at some point you have to detach from it in order to get something done. And that doesn't mean dissociation, folks. That just means detaching at times, again, where you need to do that, right? There are times that I have to detach from all of my identities because to wake up biracial is oftentimes waking up in a freaking war zone between white and black people. It's really obnoxious. Like especially right now and in the last few months of the
I
biracial
can only
discourse. Like,
imagine.
and that's not like a sob story. It's just like a lot of times I have to detach myself from like that particular advocate, identity fight. Yeah.
that thread of your
Right.
identity and where
It's
it
like
leads.
it's just so I just
I am biracial,
Yeah.
therefore society dictates this, and therefore
Right.
this, therefore this, therefore this. And before you know it, you're in this mental projection of your life that isn't even real to you in the present moment because you just went with the thought all the way down,
Right.
and then you ruined your day. Because is a black lady glaring at me in the store? This Sarah didn't say this happened, but like, is the black lady glaring at me in the store for the reasons why she's glaring
Right.
at me in the
Right.
store,
Or
or is
is
she
that black
glaring
dude
at you
like
for
why
some
is
other
that
reason?
black dude looking at me like that? You know, like is it like mutual like, hey, I know, you know, like you know, like is it that, or is it like he's looking at me like I'm a white lady? You know what I mean? Like I mean there's a very
All of that can get
really complicated.
so, once again, that's the
Right.
drag effect. That's that drag effect of people and
Right. And so
energy that I was talking
again,
about.
it's
Heavy.
I think selective detachment is I think it's great. I think it's great. And I think we have to do it. Sometimes we can't hold everything. And you shouldn't require yourself to hold everything. You can't. You just cannot. You cannot.
Even a step further,
Yeah.
compassionate detachment, where you can be compassionate towards another or towards a situation. Also say, like, for the preservation and the sanctity of the peace of my soul, I'm just gonna let that just
Right.
chill for the
Yep.
moment. That's how we know that we're like real mature adults, not just fakers on TV.
Right. Okay, y'all, this is the Kendrick Lamar stuff. And I've watched probably 100 takes on this. We're gonna watch 2 videos by the same person. And let's just go from there.
Are people with good politics supposed to be impressed by Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance? Like, y'all did not hear Ismatu when they literally said everybody wants to be Nina Simone, nobody wants to sing Mississippi Goddamn. Go to threadings.io and read The Mythical Black Artist if you haven't already. Like when he said the revolution will be televised, it's the right time, but you got the wrong guy. He literally casted a spell to get all of y'all to tune back into bullshit dichotomy right and left wing politics in America, and you ate it up. Also, to see the way iconic words by an actual revolutionary artist, Gil Scott-Heron, were completely co-opted for the empire actually made my skin crawl. Because guys, you will not be able to stay home, you will not be able to tune in and cop out, you will not be able to lose yourself on drugs, you will not be able to skip out for beer on commercial because the revolution will not be televised. It happens in the fucking streets. You know what will be televised though? Propaganda. Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think Kendrick is where he is? A-lister millionaire celebrities no longer have the luxury of being subliminal with their messages. I've been seeing a lot of mental gymnastics today trying to justify how actually Kendrick is kickstarting the revolution right now, when what he really did was make the American flag look cool. What do you think the long-term effects of that will be? What he really did is take the unmatched beauty and talent of West Coast California culture and associate it with the horrors of the empire. What do you think the long-term effects of that are going to be? The empire knows that y'all are more concerned with the deification and idolatry rather than solidarity. Y'all don't see how Kendrick and SZA are literally in the line of succession after Jay-Z and Beyonce? Ismatu said it in their essay. The empire has been using amazing black artists to placate the masses since Motown. It went through the entire Jackson family, now it's with the Carters, and in a few years, it's gonna be with the girls who all of y'all are rooting for. The Kendricks, the SZAs, the Doechis, the Megans, the Glorillaz. The empire has constructed an unbroken thread of black capitalism to keep you satiated, and you're accepting it because you think that's what you deserve. Nina Simone is rolling in her grave. Oh my God, I can't deal with this. Like, yeah, you can embarrass a pedophile on national television, but can you fucking say free Palestine? Can you say fuck ICE? And actually, y'all are gonna hate me for this one, but I don't give a fuck anymore. Kendrick Lamar does not have a single song in his catalog that goes toe-to-toe with Hymns Hall by Macklemore. There is nothing as explicitly political and with the times as Hymns Hall by Macklemore. Do not be upset with me for pointing out the problem. Be upset that the problem exists. The fact that a white man is doing political rap better than an alleged artist of a generation is embarrassing. Because in all honesty, the only reason why the American flag should be in anything art-related that you do is if you're setting it on fire. Do not fight me on this. You will lose. I am not going to die on this hill. I will kill you on it. Video essay on this coming this month, so subscribe to my YouTube. I can't have y'all running around here like this. I'm sick.
Just hang on, y'all. Next video.
Wait though. My edges were snatched. Like that was. I'm gonna play the next one, but like
Play the next one. Play the next one because you gotta get the full arc of the story, and then we'll go.
People want me to apologize for disrespecting Kendrick Lamar. I'm not going to do that because he doesn't need my respect. He's a millionaire. What I will apologize for is speaking rashly and saying something without Googling first. That's my bad. I shouldn't have done that. However, I think it's really interesting to see what people get angry at, what the collective outrage is directed at. I made a wild statement about a black deity, and I've been getting eaten alive for people who probably were really happy to see that a black woman was running for president for the first time. And I think it just comes down to black people, as much as I love them, being so incredibly traumatized by these conditions that they see black people in high places and they think that that means black people are advancing. Black people are advancing, but not in the way that you think. Black people are advancing up an oppressive ladder. They're allowing us to be publicly pro-black because it's profitable. They're allowing us to be publicly pro-black because if black people are happy to be black Americans, then they won't pivot to analyzing the aberration that America actually is. That this actually is not America. This is Turtle Island. I'd also like to encourage all of you to be diligent about who you give your attention to. I'm a professional propagandist who has marketing and advertising experience. What I've just done actually is a masterclass in generating attention for anything. When you critique a deified figure, whether it's valid or whether it's not, people hit back en masse because they love celebrities. They want to protect celebrities. They want to uplift them more than they want to uplift oppressed people in their actual own communities. I do post about some of the work that I do offline. You can look on my account or you can look in my link tree to see the educational resources that I provide for people. Also, the money that these videos have made this week is actually going to be ridiculous, so you better believe I will be distributing it throughout my community, and once I get it next month, I'll be posting for accountability reasons. If someone says something that triggers you, if someone says something that upsets you, I need you to ask yourself, why? No material harm was done by the statements that I made this week except to some people's egos. Nobody died, nobody was put in immediate danger. But I ultimately brought the truth to the forefront for a lot of y'all. Was I feeling very intensely? Did I speak brashly? Yes, both. Did I make some wild and incorrect statements? Yes, I did. I can admit that, and I'm sorry. But now that I have your attention, can I please get you to go to my link tree and click on some actions that are not protesting or voting, which is an article compiled by an organizer of actions to do that are not protesting or voting that will help us in the immediate near term. Because if I can, I would love that. I would love that so much.
You can't see the link tree, but presumably Dr. Flo is going to the link tree. There it is.
Yeah, I just went to that Linktree space about the things that can be done that are not voting or protesting. Donate to mutual aid groups, organize fundraisers for local groups, donate to food programs, cook and bake for community group meetings, start or join Food Not Bombs, knit or crochet items for your houseless neighbors, participate in Warm Holidays 2024 or 2025. Hopefully that comes back. Organize or participate in political education, establish ongoing study and book groups, sign up for a training on how to facilitate reading groups. Yes, organize a monthly community film screening and discussion, offer skill sharing and trainings, participate in skill sharing and trainings, volunteer your art, technology, design, legal skills to local efforts, organizations, and groups, sign the Solidarity Pledge, learn and practice community self-defense, learn about community defense zones, also check out the excellent resource Defend and Recruit and learning how to create rapid response networks. I forgot about rapid response networks. I used to build those. Learn about deportation defense. Sorry about that. Organized response and support for survivors of violence, harm reduction education, abortion funds, escort people to abortion clinics, adopt a clinic, train to become a practical support volunteer, support people traveling for access to abortion care, act out for against the LGBTQ attacks, as we've been seeing, and we discussed today. I mean, it just goes on and on here. We'll drop this in the show notes and also in social. I'm gonna post it right now,
Yeah.
directly to,
I was
you
gonna
guessed
say,
it,
to link it.
Threads.
Yeah, I'll share it and then link it on all my stuff too. No pipe. Yeah, so I mean, I think there's a couple things here. I don't think that Grace is wrong on all counts. I think that there's a little bit of disingenuousness that it took 4 videos, because that was the first video and the last video that y'all saw. There's a bunch of in between videos of them doubling down on their takes, and like crying and saying like the reason that they were so mean was because they care so much about humanity, and then they came up with the apology take, and like, you know, like it there were a couple things in that video, like starting it off with like, if you have good politics, how could you like the performance? And I'm like, I don't like, you know, like that's definitely a marketing and business propagandist way to start a video, that you know is going to gin up people, and I'm not sure that it helps the cause. And also these, you know, I think Grace identifies as a leftist. Now, this all being said, y'all, I am in Grace's Discord server. It's great. It's actually really, there's a lot of great resources that get dropped in there. But that being said, there is also a large conversation online right now about leftism and how quickly it becomes neo-Nazism, and how quickly it just gets bad, because you're not talking about the moral superiority complex in the leftist space is not cute. And so this is kind of one of those takes that it's like, you think that you know everything and you don't. And you know, so again, I think there were a lot of layers, and the whole like the comments on the last video are like, are you gaslighting me? Like, it's very much like, you can tell there's certain people that are there that are stans of Kendrick, and then there are people that are like, ooh, yeah, maybe this is a good take. And then there are people that are like, ooh, this is a horrible take. And why are you saying that a white man is better than a black man? And I'm like, why are we trying to determine who's better than anybody in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, why, like, and this is the thing, like when we talk about white supremacy, and Dr. Flo and I were talking about this on Threads earlier, you know, because I said the fallacy of white supremacy, the falsehood of white supremacy. And he was like, I don't like that term. And it's like, yeah, it might be white mediocrity, but y'all, we cannot just be like, let's replace white supremacy. And I'm not saying that people are necessarily saying this, but the implication is that if the, you know, that you believe that the black man is better than the white man, and then you're participating in black supremacy in the same way that black capitalism is no better than capitalism. It's all, you know, and I'm not, again, I'm
the fallacy that this society creates is that to comment on white mediocrity means that you're trying to usurp the throne of whiteness.
Right.
And that puts, I mean,
that was a wild take to be like Hind Hall and Macklemore, and they doubled down in the next video that they were like, no, Macklemore has done more for the community than Kendrick Lamar ever has. And people were like, no, that just like blanket.
I mean, did I agree that Macklemore right now has a more on the nose, bold voice than Kendrick?
Piper, stop.
Yes.
I haven't listened to Macklemore stuff, but I've seen a lot of videos of like, go listen to this particular tune. And what I found about Kendrick is like, and there's a debate online right now too. And again, I'm going to write a whole thing on this, and like the way that I watched not only Grace's videos, but several other videos on Kendrick's performance in particular, because now we're getting into the discourse of like, is anything an artist does ever revolutionary? And I think this is an interesting place that these conversations always land, because people are like really getting very upset about like people saying that Kendrick's performance was revolutionary, and they're like, it can't be revolutionary because it was on the NFL stage and he was allowed to do the things that he was
sponsored by
doing.
Apple Music at top and bottom. What are y'all talking about?
Right. And so like it's just a very interesting like space, I guess.
He too is compromised, and he too is bought, and they are right. This energy that I'm just meeting for the first time, they are right that he did not say ceasefire now, and he did not speak out against ICE.
Right. And so like this goes back to the Ye discussion of like, what do we hold our celebrities to, and also to the discussion that's being had online right now about Kamala coming back and saving us. Like, listen, folks, these people are not going to save us. These celebrities are not going to save us. They're millionaires. They do not care about you. They don't care about your next door neighbor that's going to get taken away. You know, they don't care about your art. They do not care. And at the end of the day, like Kendrick, yes, his performance was cool. Yes, I'm still over here using Not Like Us, and I ain't never listened to rap. Listen, I listened to rap like 20 odd years ago. Like, I do not delve into rap, and that performance got me to go look on the internet for a list of things that I needed to listen to understand what Kendrick was trying to tell me in his rap on Sunday. Like literally, like, it got me to go down the rabbit hole. Okay, I don't listen to rap. Well, that's a lie. I listen to rap when Dr. Flo and Poppy are listening to rap on it live, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I know these people. You know, like I can get down with it a little bit, but I can't. Like, I'm not really in it. You know. But so like, was Kendrick's performance revolutionary? And does it matter if it was? And does it matter if we're classifying it? Like, it is this purity of like what it was and what it wasn't. Specifically when the artist is not commenting on, like, Kendrick is not on social media right now. I think you shared a post earlier, Dr. Flo, about like Kendrick's not on social media explaining to us what his take is on his own performance. This is a whole bunch of people on the internet applying their own meaning to a performance that they saw, which is fine. That is what art is supposed to do. Art is supposed to make you think. Art is supposed to make you feel a certain type of way. Right? But he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire several times over. He does not care about you. That, you know, so I agree with Grace. And I also am like, coming and saying that everybody has bad politics that happen to have a bit of joy at Kendrick's performance, that's probably a stretch. You know, that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
I mean, a person who has $140 million in the bank is not a person that I can right now identify with.
Right.
And I don't think that's a person that wants to necessarily identify with me. I think that a lot of the SZA stuff that we saw and the Kendrick stuff that we saw, I think that they performed a song from Black Panther that was like years ago that was placing them in the trajectory of everything this person's talking about. Right. They're just the next version, in the same way that Dolly Parton is in that music video with Sabrina Carpenter. She's clearly being anointed as the next blonde bombshell. Carpenter?
Who is she?
All I know about her is that she sings that espresso song. My espresso.
Oh, that Ariana sang on the TikTok commercial. Okay.
That's all I know, but I don't know anything else because I'm over 40 now. What I can tell you about is the truth about Elvis. Stand by for this one, y'all.
Appreciates more different kinds of music than you. That's obvious. But did you feel at the time, in the 50s, early 60s, a resentment of some of the white performers who were copying R&B stuff and selling more records than you and your contemporaries were?
I just didn't object to it. I just felt that the music it wasn't that good to care about. Now, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I mean,
maybe some exceptions, though. I mean, Elvis was a talented guy.
Well, okay.
Not necessarily. You know better than I.
Yeah.
Let me ask it differently. How good was Elvis?
What Elvis did, he caused a lot of the populace, if you want it, and usually when people say populace, they usually mean white people. to start listening to a lot of music that normally they wouldn't have been listening to. I guess I'm going to lose at least about a third of my fans right now. But to say that Elvis was so great and so outstanding, like they say, he's the king. I got in trouble because one guy asked me this question, and I said the king of what, and he got mad at me. You see, I don't think of Elvis like that because I know too many artists that are far greater than Elvis. I think Elvis was person came along at the right time. Well, here was a white kid that could do rock and roll or rhythm and blues or whatever name you want to call it, and the girls could swoon over him. Nat Cole got in trouble in Alabama when the women swooned over him. Got put out of town. And black people have been going out shaking their behind for centuries. And what the hell's unusual about that shaking their hips and stuff? And that's all Elvis was doing, was copying that. And he was doing our kind of music. He was doing the Willie Mae Thornton jailhouse rock. That's black music. So what the hell am I supposed to get so excited about, man? But I think all this stuff about saying he's the king and he's the... it's a piece of bunk. Sorry. Next question. Don't ask me no more about Elvis because you got in enough trouble as it is.
I think you covered it, though. I don't think a follow-up is necessary.
Okay, all right. In peaceful dreams.
Nobody appreciates more different kinds.
I put this in the deck because I think that I love it when honesty is spoken. And Ray nailed it. Like, what? I feel the same way about that S word that I don't use anymore and probably won't utter for the rest of my life. Where is said kingdom? Where it, like, just because you all say that these people are supreme or the best doesn't mean that it is. That's more propaganda and more lies and more perpetuation therein. And I love it that he's like the king of what? This is the person who culture vultured and then gained fame from it. And while I don't want to take anyone's abundance away from them, it's kind of like a, why are y'all lying in our faces? And why have you been for so long and expecting us not to speak up? What I think is refreshing about where we're going, where this clip bridged us to, and where we're now standing in is a space of ultimate integrity, where it's kind of like a, I'll clap if I'm impressed, but if I'm not impressed, I'm not going to do it just because you said so or you're trying to exert some type of like authority. Essentially, Bob Costas put the words in Ray's mouth, like, you know, so what about Elvis? And he expected something positive. He's almost prompted to say something positive and then got way more than what he bargained for.
Yeah, I would also say that any of y'all that saw the Elvis movie, y'all need to also watch some of the discourse around the Elvis movie, because some of y'all didn't get that. Some of y'all just didn't get what Ray Charles just said. Okay, you didn't understand. You didn't get it. And what you need to know is that he was a culture vulture. He was like he was an appropriator. Okay, he didn't. That's all.
What I don't like about Elvis is that Elvis was not like a Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was allowing black people to walk in the front door with him and creating conditions where if everyone on his team, black, brown, whatever, was not being treated as well as he was, then he would bust the door open and bridge that. I don't get those stories about Elvis. I get stories of mansions and a lot of...
Yeah. Yes. Things that are afforded to white celebrity.
Things that are afforded to whiteness, period.
Yes.
Speaking of whiteness and its ability to take your hip gyrations and also your freedom from you. Justice for Charles McNair. We are raising voice for this cause. I think that's all I can say. I want you all to research the story for yourself and to come to your own conclusions about what's going on here. I would also encourage all of you to look into the people who are supporting this guy, including myself and the board president of his organization, and just ask yourself what more can be done for this black man who sits in a North Carolina jail, and he has sat there for 44 days. I'm sorry, 44 years. 44 days would be rough, but 44 years is crazy. Also, ceasefire now. They are apparently trying to buy this up.
Weird.
And push people
It's
further
weird.
out of their homeland. I think that that's strange.
It's weird. It's weird. Somebody on
What
the
other social? I'm sorry.
So somebody on my Facebook the other day was like, because I said this is weird about something, and they were like, that weird isn't the word that I would use, and I was like, no, we use weird as a blanket term. It's a blanket term for this shit is crazy. It shouldn't be happening. It's
Yeah, I'm not.
It's racist. It's anti-trans. It's it's bad. It's weird. It's weird. Wanting to buy Gaza is weird. That's weird. That's weird.
Even saying it out loud as a credible.
Right. At a press conference. A whole press conference. That's weird.
I feel like I'm being tested daily about like I feel like they're playing that game of how far can we take them? Like how far can we
Yeah. Somebody else in that same comment section was like, I don't know if I'm reading an Onion article or if it's real life. And I was like, that is accurate. Like, you don't like, is it an Onion article or is it something that they said? You know? As far as other
when the young lady stood up in front of all of America and said it's the Gulf of America now, I don't understand why you all are even having this discussion. I was like, they're intentionally trying to put us in the upside down because that's part of the circus and the sport of the circus. I'm so annoyed.
Right.
All right, y'all. Love Revival and Academy is coming very soon. Please submit your materials. I would love to get to know you better. Adopt a Black Artist is still going forward. We will continue to ask you all to submit Black artists that you think need support. That could be you. If it's not you, we're just going to keep cycling through the people we have because no one's begging you all to get free. Just make your own decisions. Tara is working to sponsor a student for the month of March. Poppy and I have contributed to this. The goal is $200 a month to keep these two students, a family of students, in lessons in the Minnesotan studio. Please contribute if you'd like to pay it forward into the next generation of entertainers and expressors. If they don't become professional entertainers, at least they'll be kids who have expressed themselves, which of course makes for healthier adults. I'm looking now for people who have a spark. Some of you walk around in life with a spark and have ambitions towards a bright future. Please connect with me if you're one of the people who sees a bright light in your future and wants to build something beautiful in a YOLO kind of style. If you're a person who thinks you know everything about future liberation causes and musical theater workshops and things, don't talk to me. Because we're trying to build something fresh, new, and vibrant that is a right now kind of situation. Audition, and also feel free to book with me if you'd like to figure out how to use your voice stronger on the planet just for today. Tara, what are your closing thoughts?
This is a long one, y'all. If you stuck with us here, thank you so much. And I hope you go out and you take an action, whatever that action is. Like, I'm so tired of y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of y'all being like, I don't know what to do when 100 things have been told to you or you've run across that you can do. To use Kamala and Kamala's mamala. Do something. Do something. That's all.
And hopefully you're doing something that's making you happy or giving you feelings of happiness, something that's contributing to your health and well-being, and then something that's also contributing to your freedom. That's all we care about here in real life and remote, is being happy, being healthy, and being free just for today. I want to thank everybody for making it through this hour and 44-minute Deconstruction Junction. On behalf of Tara Paolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, and myself, Andre and Flo, we invite you to stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable, and we will see you very, very